to share it. Can you see if you can share it? Here we go. Thanks. Hi Bradley, hi Morgan, hi Kathy, and Linda. Hi Linda. Okay, I'm going to get started. I'm pretty excited. Welcome to Journeys with Judy, where judgment ends and love begins. I want to thank you for joining me here on the new page, Divine Collaborations. I'm excited to tell you about a new format of the show, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. After doing the group live on Friday, it was so much fun, I started to think about what I could do to bring that fun, that collaborative fun into my show. So watching the show, I was watching it back and I realized all the different journeys of each person on that panel. They're unique and special. So I began to think that instead of just giving my journey on this show, that I should travel around and interview different people so that you can hear their journey. So the name of the show is perfect, Journeys with Judy, because now I want to focus on people within our community, interviewing them so that you can hear their journey, because no two people heal the same exact way. I've had many mentors, I've had a couple of teachers, and what I have learned along the way is you take what resonates with you and you leave the rest behind. So in order to do that, I want to give a lot of different experiences, a lot of different opportunities for you to hear the many different ways there are to heal. And these people can share their experiences, their journey, and their tools. And hopefully those things will resonate with you at one point or another, and they can help you along your path. You know, what works for me may not work for you, but it may help somebody else. So that's going to be the intention of the show right now. So from this point forward, I'm going to travel around. I'm going to interview people about their journey to love and happiness, with the intention to bring to the forefront that we're just ordinary people joining together to do extraordinary things. It's like Katie Anna teaches, we can only succeed together. So for my first interviews, I figured I should interview the people that make up the page, the group Divine Collaboration. If you watched our live show on Friday, you know that Jennifer Bucko is our group moderator. So I thought I would start with her because I feel she's going to end up on everybody's show at some point or another, so you should get to know who she is. She's already done a live this past Sunday with Katie Anna where they discussed physical death and communicating with loved ones who have crossed over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Jennifer Bucko. Hi Jason, Diana, and Will. Thank you for joining us.
Hi everyone.
This is Jennifer. Do you like to be called Jen, Jenny?
Jen is probably most common.
Okay. All right, Jen. Question number one. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is in North Jersey, and then spent a handful of years, we were 8, I was 8 I think, when we moved to Brick, New Jersey. My parents we moved from an apartment to a house. So we moved there when I was 8, and I lived there until I moved out on my own at 25.
Was there anything special about your house?
It was on a lagoon, so we grew up fishing and crabbing and boating and swimming in the backyard, so that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy seafood?
I do not. I do not. I don't eat anything that breathes underwater.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was the one, my brother used to catch fish to sell to the store for bait. and I would be opening up the traps and letting everything go, and kicking over the crab buckets, and yeah, super popular.
Great. Well, you just answered. The next question was, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have one brother. Younger.
Is he older or younger?
He's younger.
Okay, great. How would you describe your childhood?
It was easy. I mean, it was terrific. We weren't rich. We had everything we could possibly ever want. We vacationed. We mostly camped. We camped until those were our big vacations until I was about 13. We used to tent camp at this one particular state forest, and we would, daydream about the cabins across the lake. Like, someday we'll stay in one of those cabins. And so the year I was 30, it was over my 13th birthday. So you've got a cranky 13-year-old and a cabin with an outhouse, and it rained the entire week we were there. So
that sounds lovely.
no one died, but I think it was the last time we camped.
Now, interesting fact about you. You have no middle name.
I do not. No.
Do we know why?
No, I think it was just a rebellious statement from my parents, kind of growing up traditional with middle names and confirmation names, and they were like, nope, not doing it.
How would you best describe your parents?
They were kind of hippie rebels, certainly my early life, and then, kind of sort of yuppie-ish, but with hippie undertones.
Undertones?
During the 80s. Kind of a dichotomy, but yeah.
Did you find that... Okay, hold on. I'll get to that later. What is one of your fondest childhood memories?
I think probably being able to play outside. I don't find that kids can really do that now. We lived on a kind of a cul-de-sac that the only cars we ever saw were, our parents. So we could play kickball in the street all day long, and we had the lagoon, there was a swamp, there was a boat launch, we still had empty lots in our neighborhood, so we could play, in those. So it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. My mother could send us out in the morning and say, all right, we'll see you at lunch, and
good times.
Yeah.
Nice, good, safe times.
Yeah.
Are both of your parents still living?
No, neither of them.
Neither of them?
Neither of them are living.
Okay, who passed first?
My mother birthed into spirit when I was 23, and then my father in 2014.
Okay. What was challenging for you as a teenager?
Me. I was a terrible teenager. Just terrible. I suppose not by today's standards, but I was miserable from about the time I was, and not that I remember being a miserable person, I remember my family thinking I was miserable. From about the time that I was 10 or 11 till about 17.
Wow. What are some ways you would act out?
I was a big door slammer. There was a crack in the plaster above my bedroom door. Kate's favorite story, I think, is one time, I think I was about 16, I was fighting with my parents and locked myself in my bedroom, and we lived in a ranch, so locked myself in the bedroom and wouldn't come out, and finally my mother climbed in the bedroom window and opened the door. I saw her climbing in the window and was like, oh, this isn't going to end well for me. So she climbed in the bedroom window and opened the door, and my father was standing there with a hammer and took the door off the hinges. So I didn't have a bedroom door for a little while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what were some ways that your parents tried to dissuade you from acting out?
I was grounded a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No phone, no TV.
And back then there were no cell phones.
Right.
No
Yeah,
cell
I mean, I had a phone in my bedroom, which was like a big deal.
That is
but
a big deal.
that was always the first thing to go. Yeah, I was grounded a lot. My freshman year in high school, you know, kids used to write on the little like class pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of mine said, maybe next year you won't be grounded so much. But that didn't work out because my freshman year I acted out so much that my sophomore and junior year were spent at a church Christian school, so like in the basement of a church.
And how was that experience?
It was probably exactly what I needed. I needed to be away from it turned out that there were a handful of people that were there for the same reason, because their parents didn't know what else to do with them.
Surprising.
Right. I met the person who is still my very dearest friend, who was there for the same reason. She had gotten that's my dog.
That's Sienna.
There's probably a squirrel outside, so don't worry, we're safe. She got in trouble for climbing out her bedroom window in the middle of the night, so she got sent to the Christian school as well. But it was a much smaller, there was one, 20-something class of freshmen, one 20-something people class of sophomores, so it was much more supervised, so that worked out for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Supervised until PE time?
Yes, when they would take us, it was in Asbury Park, New Jersey, before it got cleaned up. So they would take us to the boardwalk and say, there was no gym in the church, so they would walk us down 3 blocks to the boardwalk and say, all right, everybody be back here at 2:15. Alrighty. And we just like, scurried like rats.
That's pretty funny. So, at 17, what magically happened to make you behave in a more respectful way?
I think I just figured out how to balance a little better. I went back to my senior year, I went back to public school. And I still, went out after football games on Friday night and went to parties and stuff like that, but balanced. I was able to also go to class and do my homework, and, I made the honor roll. Even my freshman year, when I screwed up so much, I cut school so much that I failed all of my classes except for honors English. So my parents were like, what are you doing? You're not a stupid person, but are you? Like, what are you doing? So, I think I just figured out how to have some balance.
Okay.
And I ran with a slightly different crowd.
All right. What was the most challenging time for you as a young adult? Did you attend college?
I did. I struggled with balance in college. I went back to the beginning. I was like, wait, nobody's here. I really did well being supervised. And I wasn't in college, so I kind of went off the rails a little bit. Went to college, lived my freshman year, got accepted late or waited to the last minute to try to get housing, and the school that I went to didn't automatically give freshmen on-campus housing for whatever reason. So on the upside, I got an apartment in Brigantine, New Jersey, across the street from the beach. So,
wow.
yeah. So I mean, it was 25 minutes from campus, but still, it was across the street from the beach, so it wasn't terrible. But again, I had
No structure.
no
supervision.
no structure, no supervision. An apartment across the street from the beach, and
That's a recipe for disaster.
yeah. So, and I feel like I did better my freshman year even than on my on-campus year, because we were right there, and we would open up the door in the morning and be like, and then not go to class. So my college career didn't last terribly long. I came home and went to community college for a while. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was kind of unfocused. I majored in a little bit of everything for a long time.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you finish with a college degree?
And I did not.
Okay.
I'm probably, a handful of credits short, but
Right.
by the time I got a job, and then when I got a grown-up job, I just fell into it, and, I'm basically still kind of doing the same thing, so it worked out.
Okay. All right. What do you find is the most challenging thing in your life right now?
Currently probably my commute. I just recently moved to be closer to my tribe, and one of my tribes. I have my family tribe and now my spiritual tribe, my soul tribe, and but that leaves me still doing my same job, but that is on the other, halfway across the state.
Gotcha. Now you say tribe, we might have some new people. What do you mean by tribe?
The people that I share my soul connections with, who are, on the same path or doing the same work.
Gotcha. Okay. How did you begin your spiritual journey?
After my mother birthed into spirit, my father did what we call lost it.
I'm familiar with that.
And he started seeking, and he decided he needed to do something different with his life since he was the one left here. He wanted to do something with meaning and started looking for what that was going to be.
Did he find it right away?
Ultimately, no. I feel like he had convinced himself that he had done the grieving that he needed to do for my mom, and kind of moved on from there. And
Rather quickly.
very quickly, yeah. My mother died at the end of August in 1990, and I think it was in October that he was in a relationship with someone else. And he was in a relationship with her for a number of years. And then that relationship ended, and he moved on to another relationship, and then that relationship ended, and then he met Kate.
Who we know as Katiana.
Right. So it wasn't until he met Kate, and I brought her to meet me. They were doing something. I was living in Doylestown at the time with a friend of mine, and they were doing something, an event, an angel circle, I think, in Doylestown. So they came and met me and had dinner and invited us to the angel circle. So we went, and I hadn't really had, he had taken us to visit mediums before, but nothing really. So I kind of knew that a little bit what he was doing, but not really. So we went to the angel circle, and Kate kind of went around and gave everyone little readings, and came to me, and my mom was around, so I was just sobbing. And then she talked to my friend who was recently divorced and had a small child. I'm saying something. So she was crying, and when we left, we were like, well, that was a terrific way to spend an afternoon. We should do that again. So Dad and Katie were starting to do Chambers of the Heart work, and so I went to a number of circles with them, and it was actually a terrific. I spent most of the days crying in the circles. I had a lot of mom stuff still happening, a lot of grief, and a lot of dad stuff, because he did kind of disappear after my mom died. So I, for all intents and purposes, lost both my parents.
Now, how long was it from your mother birthing into spirit to you going to the angel circle?
Probably 10 years, 10 or 11 years, yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
had you seen mediums in between that time?
Yes, yeah. a
And what was
handful.
your intention when you would go see a medium? What were you
Just
looking
kind
to
of
find?
just a connection, kind of see what my mom was up to, what was happening, get a sign from her. And you know, looking back, there were signs all over the place, but
You weren't aware enough.
right, I wasn't
You
aware
didn't know what
enough.
to
I
look
wasn't
for.
right, and I wanted something more. I wanted, basically my mom to be like, "Hey,
Tink, tink, tink.
right, exactly," and like, full conversation, kind of like my dad does now.
There you go. So it was 10 to 11 years between your mom birthing into spirit to you then being introduced to these angel circles, chambers of the heart. What else did you do?
I was attuned to Reiki. When Dad and Kate did the School of Spiritual Healing, I went to that. I was one of the first classes for that. Yeah, just everything that they invited me to,
Yeah.
I went.
And how long
participated
did
in.
that span go?
A couple of years. Yeah, I would say probably 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened after those 4 years that made you kind of shut your spiritual side down again?
I got wrapped up with my regular job. I got married. Kind of tried to build a regular life. I didn't see how I was gonna make it fit. I didn't have a lot of support in my family and friends tribe. Nobody else was, I had no other spiritual. So basically my only support was, 2.5 hours away.
Gotcha. So basically for that 4 years you were kind of living two different lives.
Right.
You would come to your tribe and be the spiritual Jenny.
Yep.
And then you would go back home and be Jen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So how long was it after you got wrapped up in life and tried to be normal? How long was that span before you came back?
About 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, about 10 years.
So why? Why did you come back?
I wasn't happy doing my regular life. And then when my dad birthed into spirit, one of his mottos was, "What makes you think you have the time?" So I decided that life was too short to be living half a life. And then Katie invited me to come to the Living from the Heart retreat in Sedona in 2017.
Yes.
So I said, "Yep, okay, I'll come to that." I mean, just the anxiety, but I was like, "Yep, I'm coming. I'll be there. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll be there." And haven't looked back. It was a wonderful experience. Connected and just I got there, and even though I was nervous about what was going to happen, what buttons were going to be pushed, I just knew that was it. I was done being a shell of a person, and this was what I wanted to do. So
what are you doing now to promote or continue your spiritual journey?
I have just recently moved, so now I'm within 20 to 30 minutes of my soul tribe, and I'm going to every event that I can, spending as much time with my people as I can, doing as much work as I can.
What does that mean to you? Doing as much work as you can. What kind of work are you doing? Because it couldn't have been easy to pick up and leave your life in Philly.
No, it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. But I'm working on me. I'm spending time every day, connecting with my soul, grounding, and then, you know, doing energy shares and this Facebook page, just starting Sacred Spaces.
Okay. And what is
Am I
that?
skipping ahead?
You might be skipping ahead a little bit.
We can come back to that.
We'll come back to that. So you said earlier you're attuned to Reiki.
Yes.
Are you a Reiki master?
Yes.
Okay. What other modalities do you know? And are you trained?
Angelic light weaving.
Mhm.
My dad tuned me.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going somewhere else.
Oh.
Go ahead.
My dad attuned me to that a number of years ago. So yeah, I have that, axiotonal alignment, which Dad also taught me to, and then I've gotten a reboot since then. And then, you know, whatever I do, I'm very kind of unstructured if I'm doing any energy work.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Unstructured seems to be your theme.
It does. It does. I do a lot by instinct, so.
But that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Following your intuition.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have just completely submerged yourself into making a better life for you
Yes.
and focusing on your relationship with yourself.
Yes.
That's some big stuff.
Focusing on living a soul-led life.
You've made some pretty big shifts since 2017.
I have. It's been a big year.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you working with any of your gifts now?
Oh, is that the?
Yeah, that's
okay. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
You are? Please tell.
Judy and I are starting a business cleansing homes, office buildings, apartments,
rental spaces.
Yeah, rental spaces, called Sacred Spaces. So look for us. Think of us if you need someplace smudged and blessed.
How do we do this?
We, with prayer and sound and sage, light weaving. What else? I think that's
I
everything.
think you've covered
I think that's everything.
it. And intention.
And intention, yes. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Well, you're also, like you said, using your gifts at the energy shares that we do.
Yes.
We also travel with Etheric Connections. That's Lloyd and Leslie. They do a lot of the Illuminate shows. As a matter of fact, this Saturday we'll be at Illuminate Annapolis, helping them out. They just started selling crystals. So Jenny will be there helping to handle the crystal sales. And Lloyd and I usually work together doing some axiotonal alignment sessions. So if you're in the Annapolis area, come on by and see us. How did you become a part of Divine Collaboration?
Just family. They're my family. They're my people. And I feel like the group of us, feel very strongly that, you know, our best chance of succeeding is to collaborate, is to be working together.
So technically, Katie is your stepmom.
Yep.
So Lloyd is your stepbrother.
Yep.
And Leslie is your stepsister-in-law.
She's my soul sister.
She's your soul sister. Okay, so not only is there the family connection, there's the soul connection.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
Well, like we've talked about, you know, when I went to the retreat in 2017, like I said, it was an instant being home with these people. Lloyd, Leslie, Sally, you, Katie, and I hadn't met you before, and you thought that Lloyd and Leslie and I had, you know, been best friends forever, and I really had spent very little time with them up until that point.
Yeah, we laugh about that now because leading up to You know, it was Jenny's coming, Jenny's coming, Jenny's coming to the retreat. I'm so excited, to the point where we're setting up the room and somebody gets a text, Jenny's here, Jenny's here. So I just assumed that Lloyd, Leslie, and Jenny had hung out. And when they got together, I wouldn't have known any different.
Yeah,
it was an instant connection.
I
There
think
was
I
an
met
instant.
Leslie one other time.
Really?
Hmm.
I mean, there was just an instant connection. You all were completely comfortable with one another.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see. I just assumed that you all had hung out for years.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting for me to find out that it was completely different, but awesome at the same time. What are some words of wisdom you can provide for our viewers that are just beginning their journey?
Get as involved as you can. Find people, like-minded people. And it might not be the first, share that you go to, or the first workshop that you go to might not resonate with you, but you might meet one person that you really resonate with. Just keep searching and trusting, and trusting your gut. Again, that was a message from my dad this weekend at the energy share. Trust your gut.
Okay, so we've danced around the fact that your dad was married to Katie Anna, so he is Alan Clark.
Yes.
So you know Alan Clark as your dad.
Yep.
I know Alan Clark as Sethius.
Yep.
Ascended Master Sethius. I never had the honor of being one of his students. I sat in circles with him and Katie. Katie scared the shit out of me, and whenever I would start to get worked up and panicked, I could look at Alan and he would calm me. He was always my safe place. So that's what I knew of him. Oddly enough, I think it was something crazy, like 5 days before I was supposed to sit in class with him as my teacher is when he birthed into spirit. So though he was never my physical earthly teacher, he has very much been my spiritual teacher since probably, I would say he came to me within the first 3 days of him birthing into spirit. And it's been amazing. He is the Ascended Master of Angelic Light Weaving, and I joke with Jenny and I call her spiritual royalty because that's what she is. She has the amazing gift of knowing the physical man as her father, yet also connecting with Sethius. What's that like for you?
It's cool. I mean, I feel like, my dad's a rock star.
He is.
Right. So, and him as my dad was pretty cool too. I mean, a lot of my favorite things about myself, I saw in him, sense of humor, reading, wordy, kind of, so, I don't know. So I see a lot of myself in him, and so I appreciate that. So then I have that, and I have a strong connection with him still as my dad, and the more work I do, and the more I live, a seeking and soul-driven life, the more I connect with him as Sethius, which is cool.
Very cool. Now, some people may not understand what ascension is. Can you give them an idea?
It means that his soul isn't coming back again to learn any. He learned, all of the lessons he was intended to learn, and he is now teaching from the other side.
And he was
Which
known...
isn't really the other side. It's
right
here.
here.
It's right here.
It's right here. Katie Anna says it a lot. He always knew that he would do more teaching from the other side than he ever did here. And it is an honor to be one of his students.
It is.
It is absolutely an honor.
And his tone is so different. I mean, his tone, that's how I can tell.
That's what I was going to ask. Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, that's how I can tell whether he's, with me as my dad or whether he's Sethius. Certainly, I feel like a lot of times the the situation, it's dependent on the situation, you know. If I'm cooking home fries, it's my dad. If I'm, you know, in a session and he's there, it's typically Sethia's.
Your dad, you joked on Sunday, your father definitely misses food.
Yes.
And he misses
Yes.
beer.
Yes.
And I always laugh because I was very much a light beer drinker. Coors Light, I moved to Bud Light Lime. After her father birthed into spirit, I really didn't understand what was going on, but I wanted dark beer. All of a sudden I wanted, you know, lagers and thicker, almost beer that you could chew, and that was not me at all. And I was sitting talking with Katie Anna one day, and she was like, it must be Alan. All I want to do is drink beer now. So then it clicked with me. That's what happened. Your father, I was drinking beer for your father. He knew I was a beer drinker. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be hard to persuade
Even
me.
now, you know, if I'm gonna drink beer, I like darker beers. But even now, you know, now I want like chewy
You
beer.
can almost chew it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I don't know if you know this because I haven't shared this with many people, but early on, after your father birthed into spirit, I actually worked on Katie. I was her energy practitioner, and she was coming to me rather regularly. And I'm going to tell everybody who's watching Facebook, Katie needs energy work done now. I told her that the other day. That's right, I called you out. But it was very interesting to me because as a teacher, he would present to me as Sethius, and he looked one way. But when I would work on Katie, he would show up as Alan. And the more healing she did, the more split they would become. I would see Alan, then I would see Sethius. And as she continued to heal, I was seeing more of Sethius than I was Alan. And it was like your father understood that he had to let her be a little bit,
Yes.
so that she could continue to heal. And when that happened, I can remember the first session I had with her where Alan wasn't present, and it was strictly all Sethius. And there was some amazing crap that went down in that session. It was freaking awesome. But it was very interesting to have that opportunity to see how that worked and to experience your father as Alan, because he's a funny guy.
Yes.
By the time I met him, he was pretty tired of being here. He was ready to ascend and do his thing. So he was a man of very few words. I mean, what he said was always important, but very few words. So to experience him as Alan in a session where he was funny and he was witty and sarcastic, he's a snarky man.
Yes. I get it honest.
What you certainly do. It was pretty amazing for me. So I feel very blessed to have had that opportunity as well. But, you know, he is the ascended master of light weaving. What is light weaving?
It's the language of the angels. It's, I don't know how better to describe it. I mean, I learned it so long ago that I don't really remember. And again, I probably got the Cliff Notes because, you know, they were like, here, this is light weaving, do this. I don't really remember.
So it's another healing modality.
It is, yes. There are encoded messages from the angels, from your soul. Yeah, how would you teach the class? How do you describe it?
It's another healing modality that I was using long before I knew what it was. I was using it during my energy sessions, and it was funny. I was sitting in circle one day, and Kate hits Alan to wake him up, and she says, honey, weave for her. And he began to weave, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, I do that. I do that in session. That's so cool. So it's another healing modality, and I find when I use it in a session, I can get, my messages are more clear and more precise.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's like Reiki but on steroids. You know, it's just another tool to use to help my clients do what is for their highest and greatest good. So when you light weave, you can weave for yourself. How do you use it in your life? Has it been an important part of your healing?
It has. It has. I actually, after the retreat in Sedona in 2017, I came home and I knew that I had a lot of changes to make, a lot of decisions to make. So I was having trouble sleeping. And I would get to sleep, and then I would wake up every single morning at 4. And I'm not a morning person. And I would be so miserable and just lay there being angry at being awake. And,
you were the one at the retreat that Lloyd was doing a Facebook Live with the sunrise.
Yes, I was tired. Yes, in 2017, everybody was getting up to go watch the sunrise. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be there. But if I'm not, just go on without me. So I woke up in plenty of time to go to but again, I laid there ticked off that I was awake and not getting out of bed. So I opened, picked up my phone, I looked at Facebook, and Lloyd was doing a Facebook Live from the top of the hill watching the sunrise. So I liked it. I watched the sunrise from bed. It was perfect.
So no, not a morning person. You're up at 4 a.m. every morning.
Yeah. And so I was just getting back into things. So I finally decided, okay, fine, I'll get up and I'll light weave, and then that became my journaling time. They were like, right, you need to be writing all this down. You have a lot on your plate. You need to write. Just get up and write. So yeah, it helps. It helps to center me.
Okay. So light weaving was a tool. You said journaling has been a tool. What other tools have you used?
Meditation, sleep.
Sleep is a meditation, right? Isn't that what we decided?
Sleep has been used.
Sleep is a meditation.
Yes.
As long as you sleep with intention.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Those are my big ones.
The big ones. What do you do when you get triggered?
Catch and release.
We hear that a lot.
Catch and release. Yeah. I've done a lot of that.
So you catch the thought
and remind myself that no, that's not happening right now. That's an old button.
We're not going to do that.
That's not real.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that you imprinted a long time ago. It's not really happening. You can let it go.
So when you light weave, you can light weave for yourself. You can light weave for others. You can light weave for
the planet.
You can light weave for humanity.
Yeah.
Something keeps coming up on my screen. So, moving forward, what do you think your future looks like?
My future's so bright.
Nice. We needed some shades so you can put them on.
Exactly. I'm excited to see, exactly what happens. I'm interested in learning new modalities and continuing to use the ones that I already, am part of. Expanding this page, seeing what we can do with that. Smudge in the world.
Smudge in the world, I like that. What other gifts do you feel you have that you just aren't comfortable using yet?
I am working to connect and trust my intuition. When I first, actually right before I kind of backburnered my spiritual path, was doing an intuitive class, or had just done an intuitive class with my dad and Katie. So I was starting to do readings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Individual or gallery?
I did gallery and then kind of partner with another student.
Very nice.
Did some readings at a New Visions Expo.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, that might be something that happens at some point.
Okay. I think that sounds wonderful. gathering.
But yeah, I'm doing right now. You know, if I'm at an energy share or doing sessions, I'm getting information that way.
I was gonna say, do you get information and do you trust it?
The more I open my mouth and give it, and follow the intuition, and follow the messages, the more often and more easily it comes.
It's like a muscle.
Yep.
The more you use it, the more you get. Now, I have a question for you. When you receive information, how do you receive it?
It's all different. Sometimes I see pictures. Sometimes I see, music or movies or colors or images. Sometimes if I'm working at someone's head and I'm kind of trying to do brain balancing, I'll see those things that sit on desks and they have the squishy things, they're glass and they have squishy stuff inside, and you twist and turn them and they kind of flow. Yeah, I see stuff like that. And sometimes it's just thoughts that I know are not mine.
Yeah, when I first started, I did my best not to question anything, and then words would come out of my mouth that I never use. It was almost like my verbiage completely shifted, and that's when I knew they were messages from angels. And other times I see pictures like you. I'll see clips of a movie, I'll hear song lyrics, but it was so funny getting used to that shift in verbiage. And at first I was like, what is that all about? I never use those words. Yeah. And then realizing that when that happens, that's a direct message from the angels. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what's the future for divine collaboration in your mind? Where would you like to see it go?
Wow, I would like to see everyone be on, a part of the page. I feel like it can, like we were talking about over the weekend at the share, kind of our vision, I think, is to give people tools to heal themselves and then to turn around and, kind of pay it forward and everyone work together. I think it's so important to, like we were saying, our goal is to put ourselves out of business. We
pretty much.
We really just want everyone
excuse me,
to come with, questions and, healing modalities that they find that work for them and share it. And
because we can't stress enough that there is not a cookie cutter way of healing.
No. It's what works for you.
Yes, it's very unique to you and your situations and the way you handle things. So we want to give you as much information as we can get to you, and you be able to listen to various different experiences and the ways other people have healed, so that you can pick and choose what resonates with you. Because it's almost like a buffet or smorgasbord, if you may, where you go and pick what hits home with you.
Yeah. A Chinese menu.
Exactly. When I first started, I knew if there was a flutter in my heart, then this is what resonated with me. This is what I was comfortable doing. So, do you have a tell?
Yeah, no, just kind of, I feel it in my gut. I know that it, when it works.
It feels right.
Yeah, it feels right.
That was like after the live we did on Friday.
Yeah.
It was so much fun being in that room and experiencing that energy. And though we're 4 very different people, and we miss Leslie, when she joins the group, it's going to be even higher vibration. But to sit there and just be able to talk and enjoy one another and be able to give so much information, it was so exciting to me that I had to find a way.
I thought that the format was really so much more interactive and so much more inclusive, and it flowed so much better.
Yes.
Than,
absolutely.
Kind of trying to have a conversation with people that are there and maybe typing, but,
because of the delay and the
Yeah.
lag. And
Right.
you want to pick up your phone and see if we have any questions?
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Lloyd says I was drafted. That's how I.
She was recruited.
And that Sacred Spaces is going to, we're going to clear and bless the Etheric Connections Healing Center.
Excellent.
So we'll pencil that in.
We will do that. Yeah, the house, we've done a couple different houses, but one of my favorite,
No questions, just love.
just love, thank you for all your love. One of my favorite feedback was, we did a house, and it was probably 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
we get a picture of a cat. And the homeowner told us that prior to us being there, they had just moved into the house, the cat would hide, and it would go for days where it wouldn't be seen. And now the cat is out and about, sits on the couch with the kids,
Playing
plays
with
with
the
everybody,
kids.
and is out. So that was really cool. That was some excellent feedback. What else? You know?
What else?
Yeah. What else do you want them to know? Has it been easy?
No, it's not easy. If it wouldn't, how's it? If it was easy, everyone would do it. No, it's not easy. There's a lot of pushing outside your comfort zone, a lot of kind of picking at things that you might rather not look at, but it's always better when you've gotten rid of it and moved through it.
What's the biggest thing you realized that helped you move forward in this journey? Because it does get hard. What has kept you from giving up?
I don't know, the things that I was carrying were too heavy and too, keeping me stuck and, keeping me from achieving my soul's potential. And I just, that's what I want. I want to be happy. I want to be not kind of happy. I want to be super crazy happy. And the times that I'm super crazy happiest are when I'm doing, what my soul loves to do.
Makes your heart sing.
Yes.
Makes your heart sing. Excellent. That's fantastic. Yeah, so it's not easy, but it's not always easy, but it's always worth it. I can guarantee you that. I was wondering if you would do the honor of weaving with me to wrap up the show.
Nicole says, yes, Finn definitely feels more at home now.
Thank you, Nicole. So, would you do the honor of weaving with me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Your father's there, of course.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. All right. This is what he's telling me we're gonna do. For all you lovely, wonderful people, we see we have 15 people watching, and those of you that are gonna watch the replay, we want you to, if you can, put your feet flat on the floor. We want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. As Katie Anna would say, breathe in through the crown and out through the heart. And we just want you to relax. If you want to and you're guided to, you can close your eyes. If you're guided to watch our hands, watch our hands. We are going to weave for you. Our intention is to raise the vibration of humanity so that we can return the earth to a place of love. That's what all this work is about. And the only way we can do it is by doing the healing work with ourselves. Once we raise our vibration, we raise the vibration of all the people around us. So that's the intention. So relax, take some deep breaths, and Jenny and I are going to weave for you for a little bit. Breathe. Breathe in and exhale gently. And as we weave, feel free, if you feel guided, to weave with us. You don't need a special attunement or permission to weave for yourself or weave with the intention for others. Like I said, I was doing this long before I realized what I was doing. Attunements are to heighten the connection. There's nothing wrong with you ever doing what you're guided to do. When we weave for the intention of healing, the intention of receiving whatever messages that will help in the healing of those who which we weave for.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. This has been a blast. If you like the format, please feel free to comment. If you know of anyone, if you would like to share your journey, or you know of anyone that you think should share their healing journey, feel free to message the page, Divine Collaboration, or comment below, and we'll connect with one another and see what we can do. Next week, my plan is to be in Spring Grove, interviewing either Katie, Anna,
Someone.
Lloyd, or Leslie. And I'd like, again, the whole journey part is not only finding out and hearing other people's experiences, but me being able to journey to them, go to them where they're comfortable in their environment, so we can get them as relaxed as possible to share their story. Because I know me doing lives was pushing me way outside my comfort zone. And Jenny was nervous coming into today. So Katie Anna, we know she's not nervous at all. Lloyd, he's over it as well. Leslie, I don't know if she ever gets nervous. But we're going to go beyond the Divine Collaboration team, because we want to make our team and our resources even larger. So, Will, I'm coming for you. Morgan, same thing. Carolyn, expect a phone call. All right?
And share. Invite your friends. Share, share, share.
Share, share, share. So thank you again for being here. This is Journeys with Judy, where judgment ends and love begins. Don't forget to be awesome. Have a great night. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.